My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for choosing us. 35 wooden structures at Dakuman Black Park have been razed to the ground. Eyewitnesses believe the fire outbreak was caused by a burning heap of rubbish nearby. Motorcycles, tricycles, and other personal belongings have all been lost to the fire. Speaking to Joy News, some victims of the devastating fire who were hopelessly going through the rubble counted their losses and appealed to authorities to send them relief items.
Some 175 people are counting their losses here at Dakuman Black Park. Motorcycles, tricycles, their shelter, everything they've worked for the past years have all been razed down. So they are showing us evidence of a bundle of cash that has been burnt. So these are just the remnants of some of the monies that have been burnt.
The rooms was 35. The fire started at our rooms back.
You were burning some refuse there.
They are burning boiler. They are burning boilers there. And for me, there, I and my husband, we didn't take anything. All our money, our things, we didn't take anything from there. All our things are burned.
Oh, nema be brediashe. Nema dia se papa. O hwe store so egu ano anye nema kito na gum. Ana dana e wo hanom so nyina den.
There were about 35 kiosks in this space, and in each one of them you have about 6 to 7 people occupying it, and now all of that is gone. I cannot tell you how much cash has been lost to the fire, because over here we have traders, people who deal in tricycles and motorbicycles, and normally we keep our monies at home. We don't save at the bank. So you can imagine how much money has been burned through this fire. What is left for me is the clothes that I have on me right now. Apart from this, I do not have anything. I wasn't able to salvage anything from the fire.
3 days be 1 million. And any pa 80. And I say, Nananka, Eba, no more is in your mamma. Tea, many way crown a car, I say, na canny pabaco for. Tea, your Haseana, or mother phrase say, Jashi, Meroshi Banj, say, Bibiashi, me so my fashion or my fashion, the Namisha, me P. And I'm
discussing an hour, did Yanko
79 million. And I can't pay back for then 100 cities, but Bananka 8,000 in your share.
Right now, fuel prices are up yet again, with some oil marketing companies selling products at nearly 8 cedis. Total Oil, for instance, has oil products currently selling at 7.990. Goil and Shell are yet to adjust their prices. Cumulatively, this will mean more than a 1 cedi increment in the price of the product in just 2022. Last year, transport operators embarked on a day strike to protest the increment in fuel prices, forcing the government to direct Goil to reduce its prices by 30 pesos. In just 3 months, the prices are back on the ascendancy, reviving considerations of possible increment in transport fares. We've been speaking to some people on the streets of Accra. All right, before we get those sound bites from the streets, my colleague Justice Bedo has been interacting with motorists in Tamale.
Currently on one of the busy streets in one of the upmarket neighborhoods here in Tamale. And here, unlike many other parts of Ghana, people have a lot of use for fuel because here, because of the nature of the roads and the distances between the communities and the areas, a lot more people use motorbikes and tricycles. And so you have people who elsewhere in Accra, for example, be needing to travel in public transport, everybody has a motorbike. And so you have people who come in and then buy fuel almost every day. You have people who spend like 10 cedis a day, 20 cedis a day just on fuel, because they have to transport themselves around on motorbikes. And so these people have even more need for fuel, and for such people it is tough times, because they're having to deal with the rise in fuel prices, and then also having to deal with its ripple effect on the cost of other things. And so for people in Tamale, a new increase, a new announcement of fuel prices this morning, it's a big deal.
Almost every day I use fuel, and then the consistent increment of the fuel, especially from last year December till now, has a lot of effects on our lives, especially so that we have so many families to take care of, and the economic hardship in the country too. We don't generate a lot, and we have to spend a lot, especially on fuel. Even those who do not even use motorbikes or cars are suffering because of the increment, because it has a ripple effect on everything in the market. Market women, if you are going to buy something now, it has increased because people complain that transport fares are going up and all those things. So it has affected almost everything in the market. And since we go to the market to buy things, we go to pay school fees, and then we still buy fuel, we suffer it double. And so I think something must be done to bring down the cost of the fuel, so that it will be affordable to the average Ghanaian citizen.
I use fuel every day, because I have my own motorbike that I use to go to work and to go to farm. So I use fuel every day, anytime. And of late, the fuel prices or increment have affected my budget in going to my workplace or farming, because I also use my motorbike to if you like, convey my foodstuff from farm, and it's become very difficult for me to do so in a long period because of the increment of fuel prices. Right now, if I buy fuel 10 cedi, I can use it 2 days. From my place, from Nanton to Tamale, it can send me back to Nanton. I used to buy 5 cedi, 7 cedi from Nanton to Tamale, and I'll go back. But now if I buy 10 cedi, from Nanton to Tamale, I can go back. From Nanton, my home place, to my farm, I can't survive on that. So it has really affected my business, my work, and how I can continue to be in the farming business. Because these days, we farm very far. To get arable land to farm, you have to go far. So when you go far, you need a motorbike or something that can help you to be able to get to the farm early. So it has been very difficult these days to use motorbike in the farming business.
And for you, I'm sure you also employ or pay other people or laborers to work with you on the farm.
Yeah.
How does, if you have to spend more money on other things like fuel and other things, how does then limit your ability to support other laborers or pay your laborers, or
So it has really affected and has even decreased the number of people that I would have had to be working with me, and it has put pressure on me as someone who has a farm and want people to help me, because of the fuel. If I have to go to a farm with other people, I'll have to buy more fuel for them to accompany me, either by tricycle or 2 or 3 motorbikes. So this day I will have to go to farm alone and do a job that 3 or 4 people could have come.
From Tamale, let's come to Accra and see what people are saying on the streets.
Because you see, day in and out, they increase fuel. I don't know what is happening in this our Ghana. Day in and out, they increase fuel. I don't know. So it definitely it's like it affects me a lot. Okay, so in terms of transportation problem and all that. Today, this morning that I had a free car, so I didn't feel it too much for today. But when I'm going back, BAMS I have to take car, and these things are increased. He has to immediately, because it's too much. It's too much. So that is it. Yeah. All right.
Because the passengers will talk. If you charge them, they will talk. because the fuel prices is too going far this time around. Every week they are increase the fuel prices, so we can't get money to save and to do some things. So it affects us other ways. Reduce the fuel price for us because it will affect us every other ways. It will affect us every week. They increase the fuel, so it's not good for do that.
Every day they continue to increase these fuel prices. And this morning when I came, see how I've bought a fuel like 500, but it's not full out to the extent that I used to buy fuel. So I don't know what to do, and we don't know. Even everybody is complaining. Everybody is complaining. Even our boss too are complaining about this fuel matter. So we don't know what we want to do so that the government. So we are trying to plead to the government. It should make something about it so that we can see that everything. It's actually giving us a lot of problem because my budget has become higher. The increment, because of the increment, so it has become higher, and I can't do anything about that.
Oh, this time if you go work, you don't get anything because of fuel increment. You work, you take your money buy for all money you take buy for. You don't get anything to do anything.
Some residents in Choko in the Blekuma South District right, so we'll be going to Choko shortly, but still on the fuel increase. We can speak with Muro Abbas, who is a spokesperson for the GPRTU, and we'll also be speaking with Duncan Amwa, who is Executive Director of COPEC. Let me start with you, Abbas Muro. Abbas, you have been protesting, you have been warning, and you have been meeting government over this. Yet we are here. We are seeing what we dreaded, almost 8 cedis per litre at the pumps. What do you intend to do about this?
Yes, well, thank you very much, and good morning to all viewers. I think it is known to everybody. Last week we were at the negotiating table, of which we opted for 30% increment, and finally we were down to 20. Government was stick to 10%, of which we asked for postponement. Fortunately for us, there has been another upward prices at the pumps. So next week we are going back. It is good. All these things are happening. So I believe when we get back, we will get a very good price for our people. Don't forget that we think about our industry and think about the passengers as well. But this is just too much for us. It's just too much for us. We can't no longer bear the situation in which we are. Our industry is collapsing.
So how do you intend to resolve this? How are you going to cope with this?
Oh, we believe in dialogue. We always say this. It is our hope and belief that we shall get a very good bargaining percentage for our people.
So this will result in increase in fares, right?
Yes, we have no choice. We were aware that we started by scrapping out of some of the taxes and margins. Of which government was not prepared to do that for us. And we have no option than to come out with upward adjustment in lorry fares, of which we are negotiating now. So that's where we are.
The last time you met with government, what was the assurance?
We presented 30%, and government was stick to 10%. We said no. So it is, we asked for postponement to next week. You see, so we have to meet our people, of which we are doing that tomorrow. We have to meet them and present what transpired at the negotiating table before going back. Unfortunately, for us, we have experienced another upward adjustment, which has reinforced our argument So we strongly believe we shall get very good bargaining power back to our people.
Let me bring in Dankana Moa, who is Executive Director of COPEC. Dankana Moa, I'm grateful for your time. I mean, we envisaged an increase, but not this fast. At least we're looking at the month end of March. Why are we here now?
Well, Aisha, the same problems for which we've been discussing over a year now. Nothing is being done. Nobody is acting. Nobody is interested. And unfortunately, the ones to bear the brunt of all of this themselves are not even interested. The government, it continues to remain the single largest consumer, looking at how much fuel it has to pay for the police, for the military, for other security agencies and the work they do, Office of Government Machinery, ministries, departments, agencies, state-owned enterprises, appointees of the government who would need to be fueled to go about their duties. If it was 5 cedis, the cost will be less on government. When it's 8 cedis, you are almost doubling what you would have paid at 4 or 5 cedis. So clearly, the one to pay the highest price for all of this is the central government. Unfortunately, memos to the finance ministry has either not been read or been read and ignored completely. And so, no intervention, nothing, no policy direction as far as sustaining fuel prices for Ghanaians is concerned. Unfortunately, the commercial transport operators are also being held in the middle to ransom by the transport ministry. Let me put on record, that ministry has no business determining transport fares for our transport operators. That transport ministry, that era where we had price of petrol regulated, and so the finance minister comes to parliament to read the budget and indicates how much fuel will be sold for the year and indicates how much transport fare between Accra, Kumasi, Accra, Takrade, Accra, Cape Coast. You know, that era is long gone. You cannot deregulate fuel prices and say people should buy fuel at the pumps based on certain numbers. Then when the prices go up, they need to increase their fares. You say they should come and sit for a meeting. Meeting on what? Exactly. And so they themselves are probably also not getting the drift. But you cannot continue to go to a certain ministry that has no provision for your input cost and say that they should determine how much transport fare you charge. It is akin to telling the tomato seller, right, to sell his tomatoes for 1 cedi, because if you go to 2 cedis or 3 cedis, the people will suffer. If the input cost or variables are lower, the tomato price will be lower. If the input cost is way too high, you cannot expect them to continue to charge fares at the time when fuel prices was about 4 cedi 70, 4 cedi 80. You cannot continue to insist that they charge as though you are selling fuel to them at 5 cedis. It is now almost 8 cedis. That era ought to end. I have told the transport operators they need to get a standard charging template, one that gives you an indication cost per head per kilometer, so that if somebody is boarding a car that does a 10-kilometer stretch and you know the cost per kilometer per head is 40 pesos, you know that is 4 cedis. You don't even have to go this back and forth. We'll give you 5 pesos, we'll give you 10%, we'll give you 20%, and now they themselves are also operating arbitrary. And so it gives them that heinous job to go and say, off the top of their heads, we'll do 30%. It's not scientific. Of all of this, Aisha, it is the poor person that is stuck in between. The finance minister's apparent negligence as far as fuel prices on the Ghanaian pumps is concerned is pushing all of us to a very difficult place. The transport operators are also held to ransom by a transport minister who would now have to sit with them and say, oh, we'll agree 10%. Fuel prices, just between the end of the year last year, 2021, as of December, we were selling fuel for around 6.6. As we speak, it's gone to about 8, almost 8. And so if you do the math, you are doing almost 20% just within the past 2 months. What else can you hold these guys to ransom for? And insist that they should charge 10%. I mean, Aisha, nothing seems to make sense anymore in this country. And the numbers that we throw about, unfortunately, is unscientific. As far as the interaction between the transport ministry and the transport operators is concerned. Then back to the fuel price thing. Nothing is being done.
Abbas Moro, let me ask you this, Abbas Moro. How soon are we going to see increase in fares? Do we still have Abbas Moro?
Yes, I'm on.
Yes, I'm asking how soon are we going to see increase in prices, transport fares?
From 26th of this May.
Sorry?
We intend any kind of total from 26th of this May, 26th February, we intend coming out of this, the upward adjustment.
All right. And okay, so this February, but you're not sure exactly when, right?
That is what we have intended to announce our upward adjustment.
Ms. Abbas Moro, I think we did not hear what you said in the last few...
I say, are you hearing me now?
Yes.
I say we intend coming out on 26th of this May.
26th of February?
Yes.
Okay, with new fares?
Yes, by which time we might have concluded everything.
Okay. Duncan, are we going to see more increase? Because this is the second pricing window, right?
Yes, Aisha. This is the second pricing for February, and already we have done 5 spot of increases for 2022. And so, give or take, given the trajectory on the international market, given the CD's apparent free fall, it is safe to predict that 1st of March, prices will go up again because nothing whatsoever is being done. The finance ministry will want to continue to treat the enhanced revenue that it is getting from upstream as though it was additional revenue that it should go ahead and use for other things. If it does not put the two on the table, which is the upstream sales and the downstream pressures, if it does not put the two and use part of the overbearing windfalls that we are getting, because we had projected $62.5, it's now $95.
All right, so Duncan Amwa is the executive director of COPEC, and he is projecting that there could be increase in fuel prices again by first week of March if the finance ministry doesn't do the needful. Let's take a break on JoyNews desk. We'll return with the very latest from the world of business.
Good morning, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The National Insurance Commission says it is working assiduously on the expansion of insurance coverage for both the public and private sector. According to Deputy Commissioner Michael Kofi, there are efforts to get people to understand the relevance of insurance. There is more in this report. The Deputy State Insurance Commissioner, Michael Kofi Andor, was optimistic about the growth of insurance in the country. However, he described the journey to get more informal sector workers on various insurance packages as tiring. But the prospects of the inclusive insurance package to get more informal sector workers has been positive.
So now we have actually worked on it and adapted it to suit people in the informal sector. And that is what has even raised the coverage from was around 5% around 2010 to the 30 that we now have. So we've made some progress, but there's a lot more work to be done. Most Ghanaians operate in the informal sector. There are just a few of us who work in the formal sector. Most Ghanaians operate in the informal. So one thing we have done is to develop insurance. They used to call it micro, they now call it inclusive insurance. It's just to reach out to those in the informal sector so that they can also benefit from it.
Dean of the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Justice Bawole, entreated the public to take advantage of various insurance packages to save them from unforeseen circumstances.
Someone who runs a shuttle business, on a daily basis, you are in the process of making money. If you unfortunately get an accident, if you do not have a way to come back, that's definitely the end of you. So for those of us in business school, we are not only interested in how people create wealth, but we also are interested in how that wealth can be protected. And one way is what we just did together with our alumni association, to instead of just celebrating love through Valentine, we are celebrating how to protect what we love.
The public lecture was under the theme, Insurance, an Integral Part of Household Wealth Management in Ghana. All right, today is a Thursday, and so we have Joy Business Social coming up later in the day at 6 p.m. We will be talking about how you can transform your business with social media. Our guest for tonight, lead developer at Eyes of Africa, Awinipa founder Henry Kobler, Rodana Yamule Odoi, CEO Hypernet Digital Ghana, and Elinate, who is project director at Skillmine Africa. That's across our social media platforms tonight. Don't miss it. Up next, sports.